Hello everyone, welcome to the Math Bender. I'm Adnan Zedi, and in this section, a continuation of functions, we'll talk about inverse, what inverses are. So let's start. Alright, so if I say y is equals to 4x minus 3, and I want you to find x. So the first step that you do is you make x the subject. So y plus 3 is equals to 4x. And y plus 3 over 4 is going to be x. This is how you made x the subject. This, in terms of if this is, since we already established that y is equals to f of x, if this is 4x minus 3, then this is going to be the f inverse of x, making x the subject, which is now, instead of y, I replace it with x because inside I'm writing x. So whatever that I'm writing in as the input is going to be changed with that variable. So this is what basics of function is. So in any equation where y is made the subject already, you are to make x the subject, that is f inverse of x, in simple words. But there are certain things that if I say find x when y is equals to 4. So in the same equation, write 4 plus 3 over 4, which is going to be x, which is going to be 7 over 4. If I interpret the same thing, I'll write f inverse of 4. Same answer. Let's look at some of the questions here. So to find out the inverses of each of the following, I'll solve some selective questions which I feel that they are challenging. So f of x is equals to 1 over 7x cubed. Your step 1 is going to be make this y. That's your first step. And shift the other side. So this will be 7x cubed y is going to be 1 and x cube. Leave x on one side and rest of the other things on the other side. Now, making x a subject, take cube root both sides. So cube root x cube is going to be 1 over 7y cube root. This cancels out. X is equals to 1 over 7y, and you can write this as f inverse of x is 1 over 7x with cube root. I'll solve this one as well. So f of x is root 3x plus 8. So step 1 is going to be y is equals to root 3x plus 8. Now step 2, make x the subject. So squaring both sides, this will become y squared is equals to 3x plus 8. And y squared minus 8 over 3 is going to be x. Now step 3 is convert into f of x. That's all. So you will write this as f inverse of x is equals to, and replace every other variable as x squared minus 8 over 3. That's the f inverse of x. Let's talk about this one. So f of x is equals to x plus 1 over x minus 1. Now my step 1 is as y is equals to x plus 1 over x minus 1, and x minus 1 times with y is equals to x plus 1. And now xy minus y is equals to x plus 1. So bringing this over there and this here, so xy minus x is equals to y plus 1. Now making x common, y minus 1 is going to be y plus 1, and x is equals to y plus 1 over y minus 1. Now writing this as f inverse of x is equals to x plus 1 over x minus 1. Now let's look at some other questions here. Now in each of these functions you're supposed to find out f inverse of x first, then f of f inverse of x. So there are two different things. Let's talk about them. So first step, I'll solve for the first one, and let's take this as an example. So it's written as f of x is equals to x to the power of 3 minus 1. So as I said that this is y, and I'm finding f inverse of x equals to x cube minus 1. Y plus 1 is equals to x cube, and x cube is equals to y plus 1. Just writing it on the other side, taking cube root of both is going to be cube root of y plus 1. You write this as f inverse of x is equals to x plus 1 and cube root. Now this is f inverse of x. Now technically f of f inverse of x is only x. So rather than, you can straight away write this as, for this one, so f inverse of x is actually x, and you will see that. Let's see. So in the function, this means in the normal function, I plug in the value of f inverse of x. So the normal function that we have is x cube minus 1. So f of x is x cube minus 1, and I'm plugging in the value of this f inverse in that. So equals to cube root of x plus 1 whole power 3 minus 1. Now cube root cancels out, and x plus 1 minus 1 is equals to x. See? So whenever you see anything written like this means that they both are inverses of each other, and the only thing that is remaining is going to be x. So f inverse and plugging in f of x in it now, which pretty much is the same. But remember that this is not multiplication. If there had been multiplication, it would have been like this: f inverse of x and f of x. This is what means multiplication, but that's a composite function. We already discussed composite function in our previous video. So in f inverse, you're plugging in the, so f inverse is cube root of x plus 1, and in that you are plugging in the value of, so x cube minus 1, that's instead of x plus 1. And now you can see, if you open the bracket, this will be x cube minus 1 plus 1, they cancel out, hence cube root of x cube is as same as x again. See, so f inverse of f and f of f inverse, they both cancel out and gives you a value of x. So no matter whichever question you take into account, you get the same value. For every question you get x. You can try taking any other question, for example. So let's see some more questions here. Now I'll solve this question here. Now f of x is 1 over 2x plus 5 and g of x is 4x minus 2 over 5. You have to solve f of x is equals to 0. So for part A, f of x is equals to 0. 1 over 2x plus 5 equals to 0. And you can write this as x over 2 is equals to negative 5 and x is equals to negative 10. So for part B, g inverse of x. So let me write it here. For part B, g inverse of x, as I said before, first step, y is equals to convert it into y, 4x minus 2 over 5. Y plus 2 over 5 is equals to 4x. Now dividing for both sides gives you y over 4 is equals to 2 over 5 into 4 is 20. So it's a plus sign here. Is equals to x. Now f inverse of x is going to be x over 4 plus 1 over 10. It's going to be g inverse of x. Now solve f of x is equals to g of x. So means part C, f of x is equals to g of x means you both write down the value of f of x and then equate it with g of x. So f of x is 1 over 2x plus 5 and g of x is 4x minus 2 over 5. Now you can take 1 over 2x minus 4x is equals to minus 5 minus 2 over 5 minus 7x over 2 and or the LCM this matter upon 1 times with 2 times with 2, this gives you negative 8. Negative 8 plus 1 gives you negative 7x over 2 is equals to negative 25 minus 2 over 5. So x is going to be 2 times minus 27 over minus 7 times 5. Minus cancels out. X is equals to 27 times 2 is 54 over 35. That's the value of x. Now find the value of g f inverse of 2. So which means f inverse, the value of f inverse is plugged in g. So first step for part D, the easy way to approach this is find f inverse of negative 2. And since you already haven't yet found out, okay, so f of x is going to be 1 over 2 x plus 5. So finding out f inverse, which gives you y equals to 1 over 2 x plus 5 and y minus 5 times with 2 is equals to x. And you can write this as f inverse of x is equals to 2 times x minus 5. You have to find out the value of f inverse of 2 first. So now f inverse of minus 2 is going to be placing the value of negative 2, negative 5, which is going to be 2 times negative 7, which is equals to negative 14. Now this value of f of negative 2 is plug in g. So g of negative 14 is going to be 4 times minus 14 minus 2 over 5, and you can solve the rest. So all of these functions here as well, they are not multiplying. It means the G inverse of 4 value is plugged in F inverse, and same here, F of 3 value is plugged in F inverse. So rather than actually taking out the expressions, what you do is you find out their relevant values and plug those direct values the same way I did in part D. This is it for the functions. I will discuss more on A-level function theory about the inverses and their sketches in my next session. Until then, take care. Bye bye.